In this video, I'm going to show you how to do your jade. Make sure that you feel really solid with your tuck and piked hip holds, as well as your baby jade, and maybe some other progressions as well that are broken down in other videos that lead up to doing your full jade. So to come into this, you'll start with your outside leg hang, which I'll come into, and then I'll walk you through from there. I'll come up into my Gemini. And then before I go into it, I really make sure that I'm arching and pushing my chest out. Then from this leg, I externally rotate, wrap it around, and catch the outside of my leg. So I'm in this piked position. So I'm pulling down and across a little bit to connect my inner thigh to the pole. Now with this arm, I'm bringing my hand to my sacrum and squeezing with this arm. So I'm connecting with my arm as well as the side of my waist, but I'm trying to clear my ribs. So then from here, I like to release into my pike first. And then from there, once you're feeling really solid and connected here with your inner thigh, your waist, and your arm, you'll release this free leg. You can either bend it as you transition it back and down into your jade, or from your pike, you can also go straight leg all the way back and down into your jade. So as I go into my jade, I tilt my pelvis and open my hips to really create this full illusion of a nice deep split. To release, I like to hook into my Scorpio and then straddle and then come down from there, just because it's a really nice and easy transition to do to get out of this pose. But if you're not feeling comfortable yet with doing that Scorpio transition, then you can also just bring that extended leg back up to the pole, rehook, and then reverse down into your outside leg hang, straddle, and then bring your feet back down. I'll show that exit again in a moment, coming out through your outside leg rehook rather than your Scorpio. But before I do that, something that I want to mention, when you're going into your jade, even though you are connecting with this area, you want to make sure you're not putting too much pressure on your ribs. So to do that, really push your chest out and arch as much as you can. So you're trying to clear this space so that the pole is connected more in this general area where my hand is. And you don't want to squeeze too hard with this arm, because if you're trying to do like a death grip, which is normal whenever you're learning new grips, but you want to try to not squeeze so hard, because you are in your rib area and you don't want to hurt your ribs. So when you extend the one leg back, or even when you release into your pike position, if you feel like you kind of slide and lock into your grip points with that slide, that's normal. I like to say that a little bit of slide and a little bit of a release, or almost like you're falling into your grip points a little bit more, that is a normal feeling. And that's when you know that you have the right amount of grip. So you want to play with not gripping too hard, but obviously not gripping so little that you feel like you're just sliding down the pole, right? So you want to play with just the right amount of grip. So keep that in mind. And then when you're bringing your leg back and to go into your split, making sure you're really connected with your inner thigh, because that is very much so a connection point that'll help you feel strong and really good in extending that leg back. Now, when it comes to your hips, you heard me cue, tip your pelvis and open your hips. So what I meant by that, I said this in another video, but I'll reiterate it here. If I'm standing facing you, my hips are square right now. So my belly button is pointing straight forwards. My hips are side by side. They're level. If I'm trying to open my hips, then what will happen is my leg will start to turn out as my hips start to turn to the side. So my belly button is starting to face the side now. And doing so will help you get a deeper split, because you're bypassing your hip flexors, which is a tight area for a lot of people. So that is what will really help create that illusion of a deep and full split. Now, in terms of the pelvic tilt, you want to make sure you're not doing this when you're going into your jade. you're arching your chest, but you're also sticking your pelvis back so that you're letting your sacrum tip into the palm of your hand more, because the palm of your hand should be here like a platter. And then just like as if you're doing a floor jade, you're tipping your pelvis anteriorly so that your sacrum, the back of your pelvis, flattens out and rests more fully into your palm. So it's like you're trying to point your tailbone downwards rather than having your hand or your tailbone pointing upwards. That will also contribute to how flat your jade split looks like. So I'll show you all of that again a little bit faster, and I'll show you how to exit from your outside leg hang rather than doing your inside leg hang this time. So I'll come up, outside leg hang, arch, wrap around, connect to my grip points, pike, and then I extend my leg back into my jade, tipping my pelvis here, and then to come out, bring it up, rehook, hands find the pole, straddle, and then you can come back down from there. So a couple of different exits. You can also just bring your hands to the pole and slide all the way down onto the ground. You won't be that far, making sure you're looking over your shoulder finds the ground first, and then you can just gently roll out of it from there. Play with that on both sides. Play with that on spin as well once you feel pretty good about it on static. Again, biggest thing, make sure you're not putting too much pressure on your ribs. So chest out, tilting your pelvis, and then going slowly in that transition into a full split. You don't want to go too fast when you're still learning these grip points and learning these transitions. So just take your time with it. Then once you get more confident, you'll be able to slide into it with a little bit more fluidity and a little bit more confidence.